I tied for third place overall.
After that, he was hooked. He'd already dropped out of Columbia University, where he was studying economics, and now was about to start a new life with a new name, Ashrita, or protected by God in ancient Sanskrit. And it wasn't long before he was off and rolling. Literally, somersaulting nonstop more than 12 miles. To make the trip truly historic, he did it along the route of Paul Revere's original ride outside Boston. You weren't yelling the British are coming or anything like that?
No. I was just trying to keep my lunch down. This is what happened. I had 4 slices of pizza the night before with everything on it, and I didn't realize that it wasn't going to get digested by the next morning, and so it was messy. In fact,
what do you mean messy?
Well, you know, I was throwing up the entire way.
While you're somersaulting?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The unofficial rule is it has to be continuous forward rolls, but you're allowed to stop to throw up.
Meanwhile, back in Queens, let's just say he doesn't exactly blend in. When Furman is out on the street, you can't miss him. He is, you might say, a man with a one-track mind.
This track actually is important because I train here all the time. I have this record for a fireman's carry. It's the fastest mile, you know, walking with someone on your shoulders. And I really want to demonstrate with you, Bernie. You know, no, you got to try this, Bernie. Okay, you see? No, and the idea is you got to run. You've got to run as fast as you can. You're right. How you do it? Okay. The idea is the person has to be the same weight as you. So this is the basic idea.
If you drop me, you're a dead man.
Okay.
No, there's never a dull moment with Ashrita Furman. If he isn't practicing for the world record in the fireman's carry, he's back home in his backyard, honing his skills to defend some other goofy record. What do you call this?
This is cutting apples midair with a samurai sword.
And you have the record on that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's 27 in a minute.
You ever cut yourself?
Oh yeah, lots of times.
Sometimes,
you know, when you're going fast, you know, you stab yourself in the.
What's the worst thing that happened to you?
I've stabbed myself in the stomach with this.
Hey, it just occurred to me, if that knife slips out of your hand, I'm dead.
Yeah, and that actually has happened.
That's it. As for the people lucky enough to be his neighbors, what's it like living next door to, what word should I use here?
You tell me what you want to use.
Crazy man, I'm thinking.
Living next to Ashrita is living next to a very regular person.
A regular person? He just finished cutting 27 apples with a samurai sword.
That's okay, we have fun, we have free entertainment. Me and my kids, we stand here, we watch him. We see something from upstairs, we come down. We are his regular spectators.
Is it fair to say that you do all this stuff because it's sort of a path to happiness?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. It's a path to happiness. I find that when you challenge yourself, when you transcend yourself, you get tremendous joy, you get tremendous fulfillment. I mean, that's really what happiness is about. You know, getting success, to me, is not happiness. It's progress. When you get closer and closer and closer to a goal that you've been training for, that's happiness.
So juggling is interesting for a while, but then it isn't progress, so you have to juggle in a Shark Tank.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Now, you found out...
In fact, wait a minute. I got to do this. Hold on. Do you mind if I'm just going to finish up this record, like, you know, the conversation? This makes me feel comfortable. Is that all right?
I want you to...
Okay, because, no, I did a record. I did 80 miles. I walked 80 miles with a bottle of milk balanced on my head.
You walk 80 miles with a bottle on your head in New York City. Somebody's going to take a shot at the bottle.
You're right. That's exactly what happened. I'm walking around the track. All of a sudden, these rocks are coming whizzing by, right? It's some kid who has a slingshot. Can you believe it? He's trying to knock the bottle off my head. It's amazing.
Okay, so he's not the world's greatest athlete. And no, in case you were wondering, he doesn't get a dime for any of his world record-breaking feats. Not a dime. Ashrita Furman does what he does for something more important to him than money. A lot more important.
I think people take themselves too seriously. I think the world is too serious. We need joy. We need people hopping around, jumping around, running with a bottle on their head, skipping with tigers, stuff like that.
Bernie, I love Ashrita, but before I get to him, I got to ask, does Guinness have any standards for what does or doesn't qualify as a record or isn't worth noting?
Does Guinness have any standards? You think they don't have standards because they allow a guy to pogo stick
No,
on the water?
what qualifies as a record? I mean, holding a pen for the longest period of time while talking to Bernie Goldberg?
No,
Is that?
no. There are three things: measurability of the event, of the feat, breakability, and you have to have a witness.
Oh, okay.
So it has to be measurable, it has to be breakable, and it has to be verifiable.
I love Ashrita. Does he consider himself a daredevil?
I don't think he considers himself a daredevil. I think he considers himself a man on a mission to accomplish just one thing, to be happy. I know that doesn't sound terribly sophisticated. Yeah, content. And, you know, of all the people, I mean, you and I together have met probably millions of people in our careers. He may be the happiest guy.
He seems it.
That I've ever met.
Now talk to me about the practicalities of this. I mean, traveling to Nepal, China, Australia for all these various things, it costs big money. Who funds these things?
Well, I'll give you mainly who funds it in a second, but he does have a job. I mean, he runs a health food store, so he has some money. But the Sri Chinmoy, who was the guru,
right.
He has a bunch of disciples, and these disciples are spread out all over the place, and this foundation, if I can call it that, helps fund these things.
It's nice. Memorable guy.
He's a very happy guy, and that's a very important thing in life.
Hard to come by in this life.